I'm Pierre. With me is Chris. We're here to talk about fantasy football week 9 now and our must-start running backs as we do each and every week. So let's get into it. Chris, give me a name.
Yeah, I've got your guy again. I recommended him last week. It worked out. Let's go with him again. That's Damien Harris. I know the matchup this week, not as good as it was last week, but I still like this matchup. They're good against the run, but they're not, elite against the run. And one thing we've seen from Damien Harris is when the Patriots are in positive game script, that's when he shines. That's when he gets 15, 20 plus carries. Now, they might not be crushing the Panthers. They could be, especially if Sam Darnold is out. But even with Sam Darnold, they still could be. But if nothing else, they should be winning this game, or at least it should be a competitive game, which should mean lots and lots of Damien Harris. So once again, if you got Damien Harris, fire him up in week 9.
Yeah, one thing that we're finding with these Patriots is they're competitive no matter who they're going against. Game script, not as big of a worry for Harris anymore. That's my boy. And now my new boy, who's replacing my old boy, who was Trey Sermon preseason, Eli Mitchell. He's happening. He's officially happened because he's now got 300-yard games. That's more than some of the top runners in the league, like Dalvin Cook and Zeke Elliott. And his best just came in this past week. 137 yards, and he is the only running back who's really getting carries. It's all Mitchell, and that's what you want. I mean, there's so few workhorse backs, and now all of a sudden, he's a set and forget RB2. Now, I say set and forget because, you talk about matchups mattering. Number one, it doesn't matter for him in terms of workload. We've seen that. But also, number two, in this matchup, you would think going against Arizona, that is a tough one because it's going to be a lot of passing. They might have to keep up, but look, Kyler Murray might not play in this game. There's a good chance that ankle keeps him out or at least limits him. And so it might not be Arizona putting up 30, 40 points like we're used to. So I do think we still see a fair amount of Mitchell. Arizona, good, but not great defense. They're not going to shut down the run. So I think you have to plug him in if you have him. All right, now let's keep going. Got more must-start running backs. Guys, if you appreciate this video or everything else that we do on this channel to try to help you win in fantasy, do us a favor, hit that like button, and of course, subscribe. Keep it locked in here all season long. All right, Chris, next running back.
I'm going to go with probably the biggest surprise of week 8, and that is Boston Scott, right? A lot of talk about Kenneth Gainwell leading up to that game. Some talk about Jordan Howard being the goal line back. Well, really, it was just kind of Boston Scott being the guy. And I know game script was heavily in his favor as the Lions could do nothing on offense and couldn't really stop the Eagles on defense either. And game script probably won't be that favorable for him in week 9, but it doesn't matter because it's the Chargers. And we talk about this pretty much every week. You want to start running backs against the Chargers because they are terrible against the run. So I know Boston Scott probably isn't going to get quite the work that he got last week because the Eagles just don't like to run it a lot, and in a game that's close or that they're losing, they're probably going to throw more. But we did see he was effective on the ground with his touches, averaging 5 yards per carry, and he got plenty of goal line looks. So I think in this matchup, if you have Boston Scott, if you picked him up last week, maybe as a desperation and stuck him on your bench, you could put him in your lineup in week 9.
Yeah, Kenny Gainwell fooled us all, or I guess I should say Nick Sirianni of the Eagles. He fooled us all. Now, I'm going to go back to the well here with a guy, everyone's favorite wide receiver, disguised as a running back, and that's Cordero Patterson. You have to have him in your lineup anyways, but look, the unfortunate news, probably heard that Calvin Ridley stepping away from the game, but for now, Cordero Patterson, he's just going to see more touches, and we didn't think that was possible with the way he's used, but he could get even more involved. He is that Falcons offense basically at this point, besides Kyle Pitts. And Patterson, of course, lines up in the backfield, wide out. And of course, he's getting all the red zone juice. So Patterson, don't worry about the fact that it's the Saints. Saints do have a good defense, and you would think a running back against Saints, we said this several times, right? Running backs and Saints don't mix, but it doesn't matter with Patterson because he's just a glorified receiver playing running back. So absolutely keep him in your lineup for this matchup, and pretty much I'm just going to say the rest of the season. All right, let's keep it going, Chris. Give me another running back you like in week 9.
All right, I think I have figured out Myles Gaskin, but now that I said that, I'm probably going to look like an idiot. But I'm going to recommend Myles Gaskin because, okay, on the plus side, he did get the majority of the backfield touches in Miami last week. On the negative side, it was Buffalo, and Miami could not do anything against them on offense. That will not be the case this week against Houston. This will be a much better game for the Miami offense, and Houston is second only to the Chargers in terms of fantasy points allowed to running backs. So this is another great spot for Myles Gaskin. And with Malcolm Brown still on IR, I think we're going to see more Myles Gaskin this week. We're going to hopefully see the Dolphins score more points this week, and that should be good for the entire offense, but also for Myles Gaskin. So, I'm living on the edge, but I'm saying trust Myles Gaskin in week 9.
Well, if you figure out Gaskin or the Dolphins just in general, congrats. I've been following them my whole life and I still can't figure out this season. On to better teams. Well, no, just kidding. It's the Jets. But you know what? There is a bright spot here, and I'm not talking about this new quarterback, Mike White. I'm talking about running back still. Michael Carter. Look, hopefully you listen. Recommended him as a boom play last week. And yeah, he sure did. Scored twice and did exactly as expected. Caught a ton of passes. Also was a leading rusher, not surprisingly, combining for, I believe it was over 170 combined yards from scrimmage, a couple touchdowns. He was the centerpiece of that offense. Well, look, that was against a really good Bengals defense. That's right. The Bengals defense is actually really good this year. They were allowing the 4th fewest points in the league. Michael Carter had his way with them. Now, going against Indy, that's a decent, but again, not great defense. So we know the fact that he's going to get all these touches, but especially being used as a pass catcher. That's what we want these days out of our running back. You've got to keep rolling with him based on how he's being used and the fact the Jets actually seem to have an offense now. All right, we got a couple more must-start running backs to let you know about, but first, let me let you know that we have a Patreon page. You can check out the description below for all the information there. You want to support us all season long and get access to our special Start-Sit show on Sunday mornings where we are with just our patrons and give you advice about everything fantasy related. Just click on the link below and you'll find out more information. One more must start at running back.
I'm going to say Zach Moss, but not because I feel like he's going to have a huge game. It's because he gives you such a safe, high floor because he's catching the majority of the passes as far as the running backs go. The fact that he's getting these receptions gives him that nice floor. He's getting double-digit PPR points almost every single week. And, we see running backs all the time who give you 7, 8 points, and that's it. Having a guy like Zach Moss, who's almost guaranteed to get you double-digit points and could get you a decent ceiling if he could find the end zone, is a guy I feel like you just have to have in your lineup every single week.
It's definitely hard to find a good running back these days. Someone that you can count on. You've got to chase the touches. So Chuba Hubbard is the man in Carolina. What about CMC, right? Is McCaffrey coming back this week, next week? Don't ask his coach because he will not give you a straight answer. He says that maybe he might be ready. If he doesn't play this week, he'll be next week. I don't believe anything that they say anymore. I don't think I have any confidence that McCaffrey will return really soon. And look, for me, here's the worst case scenario. Even if McCaffrey is cleared and does play, he's not going to be seeing 100% of the running back touches like he used to. I think it's going to be 50-50. We're going to see him ease back into action. I really don't think he's going to play this week. And even so, Hubbard still has value. New England, a solid defense, but better against the pass than the run. They're kind of right in the middle of the pack in terms of defense against running backs. So you have Hubbard, you've been rolling with him. I think keep rolling with him. He's getting goal line work. He's getting, receptions. He's basically doing everything for that offense now that Sam Darnold is seeing ghosts again. All right, that does it. Week 9, must start running backs. We do this also for wide receivers. We have booms, we have busts, we have everything you need to help you win in fantasy. That is our end game. All right, guys, thanks for watching.